Hi everyone. In this session, I am going to teach you why we need to go for digitization. Which means till now in the previous sessions we have seen analog communication, analog modulation techniques and noise in analog communication. Now we are shifting, we are we are taking a transition from analog to digital. So during this process, let us understand why we should go for digital communication. To understand that, let us first know what are the advantages of digital communication over analog, and also any system if we consider, it will have both advantages and disadvantages. So we will also list the disadvantages of digital communication. Let us directly start with the advantages of digital communication. Okay. Let us take a transition from analog system to digital systems. So for more videos on engineering topics, you can switch to the YouTube channel Dr. RCM Academy. So the first question is why we need to go for digitization. So why analog sources has to be digitized. So to understand this question, to answer to this question, let us look at the merits and demerits of digital communication over analog, so that we will understand why really we need to digitize analog sources. Coming to the merits and demerits of digital communication, first I will list out the merits, the advantages. So if you look at, or you know that, nowadays the digital IC technology has advanced. So because of VLSI industry, your digital IC technology has been advanced. Because of all these advancements that we are seeing in VLSI, while manufacturing the ICs, we can see that the speed is increased very much because of this speed, and also with the reduced size. So even source which can generate some megahertz can be built in one IC. So which means that the size can be reduced, the speed can be increased because of the bulk manufacturing. So the cost is also reduced. So this is one of the advantage of digital communication over analog, why we need to switch for digital. So this is with respect to the physical structure of ICs, physical structure of the systems. So apart from this, we also have other advantages. So mainly the security. So we know that our data, whatever we are communicating, it should be secure enough. So it has to be very much secure, so that the other users should not be able to access your data. So for which, what is there in digital communication is, we have many encryption techniques. So these encryption techniques help us to protect our data. Okay, so these encryption techniques are very efficient to allow only particular receiver to detect the transmitted data. So only particular receiver can be accessed, all others can be blocked, or all other users, so unauthorized users what we say, they are unable to hack our data. So because of the data encryption techniques, that is available with the digital communication. So this is one more advantage of digital communication. So apart from that, we can multiplex. Multiplex means grouping two or more signals. So you can multiplex different signals and transmit in a same channel. So that is very easy when you compare with the analog modulation techniques. So for example, you can group speech, video or data. So all the formats can be multiplexed. All the formats of data can be multiplexed and send it in a single channel easily by using digital communication. This is one more advantage of digital communication. And very importantly, it is less prone to noise. So all the digital system are less sensitive to noise compared to analog. Therefore, because when there is less prone to noise, less sensitive to noise, so you can transmit this for a very long distances. So you can transmit this for very long distances. So signals can be easily, so the reason why it is less sensitive is, see, noise will be there whether it is analog system or digital. Suppose if I say analog, it will be continuous in nature, correct? So the signal will be continuous in nature. At any point when the noise is accumulated, then it changes the characteristic of the signal, and therefore it is very difficult to reconstruct. When it comes to digital, how do we represent? 1 and 0. 1 means logic high, 0 means logic low. Suppose if there is a noise accumulated at some point, so here, so we have a regenerative repeaters. So which means that, so there will be a thresholding there. So I can fix a threshold. So if this is the threshold, so I will take a decision. So if the input, whatever I am getting, if it is more than the threshold, I will detect as bit 1. If it is less than the threshold, I will detect as bit 0. So 1 and 0 can be easily recognized and reconstructed. Even though in the presence of noise, so you are able to reconstruct the data effectively, and hence you can transmit for a longer distance. So this is a major advantage of digital communication. The other advantage is the error detection capability. So again, so what is error is, suppose if you are transmitting 1 and in the receiver it is received it as 0, this is called error. So in this case, so we need to detect whether there is error or not. So again, in digital communication, so we have many encoding techniques. So these encoding techniques help us to detect whether there is a error, or sometimes it is also possible to correct the errors as well. So whatever the error occurred, that is 1 to 0, so you can modify this after knowing that this is error, and I can change it to 1. So error detection and correction capabilities are there. So with respect to digital communication, you continue with the merits of the digital communication. So with this we can integrate different services. So it is easy to combine different services like video, audio and text. So other advantage is, so you can use the transmission channel which can be relatively independent of the source. For example, if you are using a cable, okay, so which can transmit 10 kilobits of voice data. If it is a telephone channel which can transmit 10 kilobits per second, kbps, 10 kbps, okay. So the same infrastructure can also be used to transmit computer data. So irrespective of the type of the data, so you can use it. So therefore we call it as independent of the source. So this is another advantage of digital communication. So we also have channel compensation techniques. So which means that in compensation techniques, it is easy to reconstruct your signal with the help of equalization. So we have equalizers, so which can perform that, and so that you can compensate the channel compensation techniques are available. Okay, so especially adaptive variations are easy to implement with digital transmission techniques. Okay, so all these are the advantages of digital communications, whatever we listed till now. So definitely by looking at all the advantages, so we need to go for the digital communication rather than analog. We need to switch from analog to digital. But however, so there are few drawbacks with digital communication also, but they are minor and they can be neglected. Since we have a lot of advantages, we need to go for digital. Let me list few demerits of digital communication as well. So the demerits are, so it requires more transmission bandwidth. So as I already said, we are using digital communication to secure our data. we are using digital communication to secure our data. So to secure our data, so what we are doing, we are using different encryption techniques where some extra bits will be added. For that. Then we have many encoding techniques to detect and correct the errors. Again, we are going to add few more bits to do that. So apart from the message signal, so message information, so the data, so we are also adding some redundancy bits. So these bits definitely will increase the transmission bandwidth. So you require slightly more bandwidth compared with analog. So apart from that, since we are multiplexing more number of signals and different types of data, so definitely there should be a good synchronization between audio and video, between the text that it is interfaced with the your video. So all that should be synchronized properly. So if it is not synchronized, one will be lagging and the other will be leading. That will not match to the content that what we are delivering. So with this minor disadvantages, however, these disadvantages can also be overcome in many techniques of digital communication, but it is these two we have disadvantages. So anyhow, we have many advantages compared to disadvantages. Therefore, it is necessary to switch from analog to digital. In this video, we have understood why we should go for digitization of analog sources. So if you have understood the concept and you liked it, so kindly subscribe to the channel.